in ERP, veteran, Mr. Sanjeev Deshpande, Chairman, N Labs AI Limited. So the last but not least, the last minute change, we have Samyuddin, Director, CII, Telangana. It is literally a last minute change because we have another panelist who could not come. Thank you. So the topic for today is ERP to AI native ERP. So before starting that, you would also be excited to know who is on the stage. So I will start with Mr. Samyuddin, probably give a short intro.
Sorry, I think I should do the disclaimer. I'm the second panelist who has nothing to do with ERP, but a lot to do with industries. I head the local office for the Confederation of Indian Industry here in Telangana. I'm the director with them. A little bit about CI, who doesn't know about CI? CI is an apex industry body. We don't call anymore ourselves an association, we are a developmental institution. Our footprint is we have about 72 offices in the country. We have about 12 overseas. We do a lot of work. The four main pillars on which we work is on policy advocacy. We work on competitiveness. We work on sustainability. And these are the key factors on which we work with the industry, time to time give them inputs, and collectively represent these points with the stakeholders, whether it is government, whether it is a regulator, and of course a lot of capacity building programs that we do are part of our daily discussions. In fact, I think me and Amjad are running from one meeting that we are currently having at our Green Business Center, where we have Mr. Naveen Mittal, who's the Energy Secretary, where we are talking about how Telangana will achieve the 2047 milestone in terms of sustainability. So that's about my organization, and I'm part of the Confederation for the last 22 years. I have served in the bifurcated Andhra. I was heading the Andhra office from Vijayawada. I was part of the Chennai office. I was heading the Pondicherry office for CI. And that's about me, and in a nutshell. And I work very closely with Sanjeev sir also. And one endeavor, because he's sitting next to me, unfortunately or fortunately for Telangana as a state in 12 years, we are still a Hyderabad specific state. We do not have anything beyond Hyderabad as industries. And I think in that, in the previous role, what Mr. Sanjeev had at entity data, he could in a small way bring in an offshore of that in Adilabad. So Adilabad as a region, he has mentored some 3-4 startups. We are trying to see that we can start an office in Adilabad and of course sometime in Warangal as well. So that's the footprint on which, and I try and give, try and see if I can add some points from the industry perspective here on the panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samyuddin. Sanjeev ji, please.
Thank you, VTrans, for having me here. First of all, I must congratulate you on your 10th year anniversary. And what an appropriate name. If you named your company as VTrans, I do not know if the name has been from the beginning or is it changed in between. But business transformation is the key now. I think every business has to transform. I think your name is extremely appropriate, and I am very, very glad to be here. I have, before getting into ERP, I had industry experience of close to 6 years. I was a CAD/CAM engineer. I worked through Shastri Ram and Ashok Leyland. Then I came into ERP world in 1998, and then from 98 till 2013 I was in the US. Then I came to India in 2013. Again, I started the ERP arm of a very large global company. Then I kind of built that company from zero to I think around 5,000 plus people in Hyderabad. Then we also expanded in Qatar, UAE, and then also I was instrumental in setting up our company in the Asia Pac. Been through this journey of building companies, but also we are primary business consulting / ERP company. Maybe a little bit of a combination for you because I come from SAP background, not Oracle. But nevertheless, with Oracle and SAP and Info, I've been fairly active in the ERP domain, and I'm very glad to be here and would like to share whatever little I could. And thanks for the opportunity again.
Great. Thank you, Sanjay for being part of us. Santosh.
Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Angel, and thank you very much for this opportunity. And I would like to congratulate each and every employee of Quitranch celebrating their 10 years of excellence. You know, this is quite not an easy deal to be in a GCC, right? So that is a great achievement. And once again, congratulations. Coming to my background, I'm into the head of technology for Opstech. So usually technology, I deal in entire software engineering. So it's been around 16, 17 years I'm into the technology. Recent past, I'm in that buzzword AI. Yes, I mean, so we have been mostly into the sister of ERP, that's why we are on shop floor actually. We have been dealing MES. Mostly we go with the machines, we play with that machines, whether it's a legacy or new ones, or PLCs, more into the hardware side. Yeah, so I just want to bring what the technology we have been introduced to these legacy machines, to these new gen machines, how do we connect it? I want to get that experience, I want to share this information with experts here. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Santosh. So, guys, this has been a very diverse panel. So, MC, I don't know where she is, so she did a great job prior. So, this is serious talking about ERP. I hope people back, you're also involved. We don't want to have it as just a monologue. Let it be more dialogue. Wherever you have certain questions, yeah, probably I'll also try to interrupt, ask. So please be involved. So they have introduced, let me also introduce myself. I'm Jat Khan, so I come from Hyderabad. Moved to Germany in 2005, did my master's, worked 7 years medtech. Then I joined Bosch in 2013. Since 2015, I've been around the world as an expat. So a lot of people go from India to outside. So I moved from outside to different parts of the world. It's a reverse outside. So I came to Coimbatore 6 years, went to Vietnam for 2 years. Now, in 2024, I came back to Bosch Hyderabad to head the center. So I'm a center head. I head the global product engineering. I'm also the practice head for GCC service line. So this is a diverse background. And just to tell a little bit about VTrans before we start our panel. So I've been with them since the inception, day one. Uh, and let me also tell you, 10 years, I wouldn't have believed that VTrans would have come. Because I was telling that, working in companies where you have probably 9 to 5, getting a monthly salary, secure job, coming from a middle class. And when two brothers said that they want to be entrepreneurs, I said, why do you want to take the risk? Right? You have very stable income. And they are coming from a family where they are used to jobs. But they said, no, we really want to become entrepreneurs. If we work, we are making the lives of two people. But when we establish a company, probably we can make a couple of hundreds. And that is what we plan to do. So, huge round of applause for the people who have started, people who have stood within this room, outside this room, somewhere else in the world. Guys, you deserve a big, big applause. So, with that note, I just start. Uh, Probably, let me start with a big picture. So traditional ERP has been always system of records, right? I mean, maintenance of data, some Windows applications. Today, AI, right? I mean, everyone knows that that's a buzzword. AI native ERP, AI agents, they can understand, recommend, act, they can do everything. So my question to Sanjeev ji to start with, are we moving ERP as a system of record to system of intelligence, right? And how do we really look ERP being transforming in next 3 to 5 years?
think probably everybody on the planet currently is asking the same question. See, the history of the ERP is that it has come from the mainframe. Like earlier, there used to be the systems which were more to be server client based, and then to the mainframe. From then, obviously, from this mainframe to the server client, and then to the 3D architecture, and now it's 4 and 5. The reality is that the business execution is happening in the ERPs throughout. But when anybody needed to derive any type of insight, intelligence was far off. But I think just to get insight, you needed to get the data out into the business warehouses and so on and so forth. I think subsequent to that, at least the core business data got organized in the ERP. So because the core data organized in the ERP, if anybody wants to get any type of insight, ERP is the right place to go and gather the data. But when it comes to intelligence, because your data can give you certain amount of intelligence, but there is a lot of data that sits outside of the systems, including your documents, your ability to access the data which is not available in the ERP, but rather it is grounded. I think that was one of the constraints that why ERPs probably could not, as soon as let's say 2022, suddenly say that okay, we also become very, very autonomous and agent-centric intelligent ERP. That's where the intelligence kind of first came onto the cloud platforms or the data platforms, be it Databricks or be it Snowflake or Microsoft Fabric, because that's where the first, I would say, the AI applications. In fact, Accenture was one of the first ones to build intelligent app on Databricks, and that was one of the big things to do. Before B2C was there, but the B2B was actually started with the on the data platforms. But then everybody is interfacing into ERPs anyways to get the data. But okay, you get the data, you get the intelligence, which is still outside of the system of execution, which is the ERP. And that gap was perceived a long time ago, but ultimately the technology and the overall AI maturity and the LM maturity was not yet there. And that's why it probably took a longer time to kind of bring it to the real business, to the real ERP. But the concept of intelligent ERP, if you look at it, the word was conceived at least 4 to 5 years ago. In last year, in one of the major ERPs event, they announced something called autonomous ERP. But when we actually looked at, there was hardly any agent that actually can function autonomously in the ERP environment. But from that perspective, but at least there is a idea that ERPs can also embed a lot of intelligent agents, which may still require human in the loop for certain processes. For example, if you look at from every major OTC or P2P or major processes, there are certain processes which can still be completely automated and can be intelligently executing based on the intelligence available outside of the system. So from that perspective, today, if you look at the evolution of the ERP, three things are happening. I think some of you probably are already aware of this term called composable ERP. So the ERP, as much as it is centralized, I think its ability to be decomposed and ability to bring different pieces together and club one solution is the key. Even a monolith solution like SAP started to realize. Right, Hasso Plattner in 2015 only talked about composable ERP. In February this year, in the Gartner Symposium in London, everybody was talking about the same thing. ERP needs to be composable. That means I will be able to invoke whichever model I want. And it means going forward is not whichever model. I would like to say I would like to get all these agents. So instead of being from the module specific, function specific, I would actually tell I want sales agent, AR agent, AP agent. That is where the ERP is heading. So we will actually very, very soon see that not that every agent needs to be fully automated, autonomous, but it will do whatever manual activities that we currently do. It will take it so that autonomous agentic ERP is not something that's going to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now. I think it's actually coming in my mind maybe 3 to 4 years time, maybe sooner. But nevertheless, to make it happen, I think based on the way that the real business are currently today, while technology is progressing, but if you go to, for example, even a major company anywhere in the globe, their processes are still so preliminary in some cases. And I sometimes wonder how would you go from where you are today to the autonomous ERP, even if the technology is ready. Is the business is ready? That's another conversation. But as technology, ERP is getting to become completely agentic and intelligent ERP, maybe in a 3 to 4 years time frame. Because some versions of it, if you already, SAP especially has announced autonomous ERP. In fact, in Bombay, 24th, 25th of this month, there is a enablement program for all the partners to how do you sell and implement autonomous ERP, autonomous agentic ERP.
So I take it that we started with assistive, augmented, now the direction is more on agentic. Recently, I also met someone, I said SAP, now they say we are a data company. So I've never heard that. So data and AI, I think, are together. So thank you for starting that insight. So now that we know that AI is here to stay, so now the question in the room, so can we have a mic, one more mic? So my question is very straightforward. If an AI agent could take away one repetitive activity in your daily life tomorrow, right? Today is Friday. Tomorrow, Shakir Pasha, Abdul Khadir says that this is a system that you will get. Now, what activity do you want to automate? What do you want to do with it? One activity in your daily life. Who wants to answer? Yeah, the topic is AI native ERP. So it means you cannot continue the way that you are working, right? So you have to adopt. So my question is, if you are given the power of AI in B-Trans, what do you want to do? Anything, assistive, automate, augment. Well, you start with the back. So just raise your hand. Oh, yeah. So please spell out your name and then.
Okay, my name is Mozambique. Okay, if the agentic AI automation is completed, so for the reporting, as of now, the requirement is received from the user, business users. They give it a plain English, like a simple language, and then it's kind of communicated with a consultant who is a specialist in ERP. Then it goes to technical. It's a long process. Instead of doing that, only the user, the business user can just put a prompt to the chatbot and all, and it gives him the details of the reports. So that can be done, I think, through this AI.
So you would like to automate the data what you get from the consultant and get something out of it,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so that's a low hanging fruit. I think you should do it immediately from Monday. Okay? Yeah?
That's another thing is
Sure, yeah.
how it will impact then the consultants, their employment and all that.
So I'll come to that because the important is to check what AI can do, and then of course, see, everything has its pros and cons. So this panel also here to probably throw some light. So thank you. I understood. Anyone else? Given a power of AI, what would you like to do?
Well, something like the team is still struggling with go lives. I mean, the team is still working there today. Also, we have a go live tomorrow. So something if AI can do on us, I mean, we will be definitely thinking on that area as well, like migrations, automations, where all we have, through which we can help the team.
So accelerate adoption because even if you have AI, you still have a challenge with go live. Because instead of I think that 6 months, 1 year, you will be demanded in 6 weeks. So you still have that challenge. Okay, fine. I think let's come back when you adopt AI. Um, so lot of data. There is a lot of sovereignty. Sovereignty means every country, every region wants to have the data security, right? So data security, information security. There is a lot of regulations which are coming around. I think in this line, Santosh, the question is to you. Um, the more autonomy we give to AI, the more important, I would call it as guardrails. So what guardrails are essential around data security, authorization, trust, responsibility, governance? Because a wrong decision that an AI agent takes, I know it has some repercussions. So And the follow-up question to that: who would be accountable? Is it the developer or the user? Is it the one who supplies the LLM models, or is it the company who uses it? So there are many questions. So follow-up question, Santosh.
Thanks, Angel. That's a nice one. So, see, I mean, as in an industry, we were adopting AI. So, like, hey, I want AI in my particular application. If I say something like I'm hiring a new employee to my organization. So you didn't give the keys to him, right, to handle the entire organization at the day one. That's where actually called data security. So where we have to have the boundaries, which are a PII information, which you used to call, which is secure, which is should be staying in the building, which could go cloud. So we have that we should have that segregation. So that helps us to manage how the data to be secured. So that's where the sovereignty comes, where some data has to be stay with us. This shouldn't go outside. That's a security we want to maintain. Same way, the same guy we hired, we will not give access to all the files at day one to the particular person, right? So how do we do? Like we say, like AI knows what to do. It needs a specific set of information to do the job. Like as said, the agent of creation invoice. So the set of data which is required to create invoice, that only can be given access to the particular agent or particular. I'm treating the AI as a person, that we are saying that we can replace him, right? So coming to this, this is actually what information security we use to maintain AI level. When it comes to authorization, here is the important thing. As some of the automations can be done by AI, but some really human is required. The human in loop is important in an authorization, right? So for example, so all of a sudden AI did something. Now we should go and ask AI, why you did it like this? What happened? What is the reason behind to do like this? If you get an answer in simple, plain, layman terms that you understood, then you can trust the AI. If you didn't, then you shouldn't. That's where the trust build around the AI side. Yeah. So now the governance. This is important. This is actually I always insist we need a person who look after AI, which has been what AI is doing, why AI is doing like this. It could be another person, like if you treat like we have 10 agents in our application. So we need one accountability person who should look after, because we can't rely completely on AI. So as I said, right, you have, no, my main worry is not AI. So when we start installing AI, everybody say, look into the application, everyone double check, triple check, whether it is doing right or wrong, correct. So 6 months later, because everyone sees that AI is doing its own job. So 6 months later, now you see, okay, everybody ignored. Now it's one small mistake happened, and it happened dozens of times until we notice. So that's where I see that is the biggest concern. Where I see that's where the temporary employee or temporary person or temporary human is not we want. We need a permanent human. Need to look after the AI, what is happening, what it is doing. We need to tune it. We need to make sure correct it. Like we are hiring a fast-pacing AI employee, but we should have an eye. We should watch them. And that's where an answer to the. Sorry, I forgot your name. So that's where we are not gonna remove the people at all. AI will never remove the people. AI will help to tune more, do much more faster and pace at deliver.
Hey, thank you, Santosh. So you all can relax. So he has just told that your jobs are secure, right? If you ask an agent, so whatever MC would have asked, right? Give the words like either husband, kukka, whatever, it would have answered perfectly, without emotions, right? So good. Very interesting question, which I also have. I mean, lot of transformation, but where should it begin? I mean, this question goes to Sami. Should it start with technology? Should it start with academia? Should it start with people? What do you think? I mean, $1 million question. Where should the transformation start?
I think AI is there in all our lives. You have a smartphone, you have AI with you. So, to answer very specific to you, what we are doing at CI, I would like to dwell upon that. Start with the academics, because most of the time what happens is what we try and learn in engineering is about a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old course which we are still trying to teach in our engineering colleges and polytechnics and ITIs. And I have Srikant Taluri here, who's from 60 Works, who's a founder of 60 Works. We did some very interesting work for Telangana government in revamping their courses for polytechnic. Now that is where I think the beginning should be. And I'm not an expert like I claimed on ERP and all, but what I could understand is it's changing fast and it is wanting a very rapid change very quickly. If I know 2 decades back, some of you I don't know remember, there used to be pagers before we had mobile phones, but they faded like this. They just went away because there was a leapfrog growth in mobile technology. And I see, and I don't know, I don't want to contradict Santosh, but if any of you follow this Anthropic CEO, Mr. Dario, the way he talks about hundreds of thousands of jobs going to change with the invention of AI is something which everybody has to watch out for. And not giving a contrary view, but then that's the view that's going on even at World Economic Forum. And also, I say let's start at the academic level. That's where we should hit, because the generation that's coming, we might have learned few things in 10 years, but today the learning span is anything between 3 to 9 months. In fact, the exercise that I was quoting about polytechnic, the idea is about smart courses. How you can make courses which are smart, which are market ready, in say from 3 to 9 months. Not beyond that.
Thanks, Sami, for that insight. So I met professors at IIIT Hyderabad. So I was telling that, we are going through a tough situation, right? We are from automotive industry, so jobs are fading, etc. So in industry, there is tough for jobs. He said, Amjad, it's not that there is no demand. There are demands for technical expertise. In fact, you say maybe an electrician, a plumber, person who works in the energy sector. So all these are multiple jobs, right? But our mindset of going in a certain direction. So that's the challenge, right? Telling that probably learning AI and adopting in a different way, which may not give the result, right? That is not, because today even a kid says, if I have to generate a song on a birthday, so they use AI, and you can also ask AI how to design a nuclear complex. So it's an intent which you are asking. It's not a requirement that you are giving. You are asking a lot of questions. So having said that, my next question. Good AI ambitions are one thing. Sanjeevji, this question is for you. Uh, Having the infrastructure to support them is very important, right? What infrastructure capability should enterprises have before deploying AI at scale within ERP? Yeah, maybe your experiences.
I think it's a two-part answer, but before that, I just want to develop on the points made by Santosh and Samiji. I do not want any of us to here to be in any type of illusion, thinking that the ERP implementation processes and all are going to be exactly the same. I think I do not want us to be in any type of that illusion. It will change. But I do not want any of us to be worried about the jobs. The reason for that is the real statistic says more jobs are getting created in IT than what are being erased. This is not some type of a random somebody saying it something. We are actually seeing it because we have data, of course, on multiple fronts. What type of jobs are getting created? If you want to hire, for example, a senior Oracle, a senior SAP, or senior Info, make an announcement and see how many job applications you find, either in India, US, Middle East, wherever. There is a shortage of ERP consultants. But you might apply, for example, we might not still be able to find a job if you do not have our resume with certain buzzwords filled. So from that perspective, reskilling of the organizations need to have a vision beyond next 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. I think to me 3 to 5 years, what changes are coming, so organizations need to prepare. In terms of, you are actually operating in probably one of the most opportunity zones. GCC countries are actually rapidly spending a lot of money on modernization. Somebody talked about, will AI erase jobs? I don't know whether AI will ever erase jobs as much, because the people who know AI probably will understand that today, if any organization, if you look at any organization, the digitization may be around 10, 15, 20, 35%. There is no organization in the world which can say that we are 100% digitized. If you want to use AI, you need to be first basing this, your data has to be orchestrated, right? And for your data has to be orchestrated, I will have one very fundamental question, if anybody can contradict me. The majority of the data does not sit in the ERP systems, neither it sits in CRM, nor it sits in HRMS, nor it sits in procurement system, neither it sits in a MES system, nor it sits in any type of machine GPT system. It actually sits in the documents, papers, emails, images that are sitting, all are out of the system. Because they are all out of the system, SAP and of course Oracle too, they said we have to ground the AI so that it can access the data that is on the floor. That means documents, you have to read the KYCs. If you are a bank, for you to be able to make a loan application very faster processing, you deploy AI, but it does not have the data. So what do you do? How are you collecting the data? The best banks in India, we all can probably attest to this, still collecting applications. Nobody is entering that into the system directly. Somebody is manually entering, or you are scanning through OCR or VLM. But it is still happening in an unstructured data format. So until the unstructured data gets parsed into a structured data, which is the first step, so first infrastructure that needs, every organization needs, you have so much of unstructured data. How do you bring that unstructured data into a format where you are able to derive intelligence? That's the first. So OCR, VLM, vision modeling, and whatever. Second, in the you have some companies, small companies, they have all of their data sitting in the ERP system. But companies of certain size, they have data probably spread across all. And companies have evolved over so many years. So it means your data is not clean. So there are a lot of discussion about master data management, data governance. But first, the data layer has to be rightly architected. What is being architected in the cloud is currently the ERP outcomes. Your financials, your P&L, your sales data, your procurement data, your whole system is built based on the data that is already processed. So the input data has to be corrected. Process data which is sitting in the cloud has to be harmonized. That's where all the Microsoft Fabric, the entire data lake systems, companies are spending millions and billions on some cases. Is to get the data formatted, data rightly, uniformly formatted, or we can call harmonized, so that we are able to then drive the right level of agentic intelligence on that. So data layer is the master data layer is a fundamental. So before master data layer, it's your unstructured data layer, topped up with the master data layer, then your transactional data, then your analytics data. When all of these are accessible to the AI, that is when it is going to get the most. But to make this happen, for AI to be for successfully functioning, there is so much of work that is getting generated. Even if every just government of India, for example, if they want to digitize their entire departments, entire our governance, probably it will create another 10,000 jobs, which probably will need to work for next 50 years. I mean, that level of unstructured data is sitting just in one government department. I will give you one, our own government department. We are doing one work there. There are more than 50,000 per district documents, which are each containing around 500 to 600 documents, for which government would have, I cannot disclose everything, but for that government would have spent so many millions over the last 10 years. All of the data sitting in files. So we are doing one pilot to digitize those documents first. And when we realize the scope of effort that we gave is going to take few years. And so we have to deploy a team of 10, 20 to one of the district headquarters just to gather that information and then to digitize that. This is fundamental one department's challenge in one district. And so a lot of us think that the US is very, very, advanced and sophisticated. I have worked in US for 15 years and I was actually heading our Minnesota, Illinois, and Wisconsin region. I was the head for the tri-state area ERP practice. One of the most famous motorcycle companies, probably Harley Davidson. In fact, we were instrumental in setting up their Southeast Asia distribution hub and spoke model that they had, and I was one of the chief architect of designing that. When we entered into the plant, the Kanban system is visual Kanban. There is no automated Kanban. Maybe they would have implemented now, but there are so many data that is actually spread across. So from that perspective, my fundamental thing for AI to really make a meaningful impact on any organization or a society, again, I'll just for the sake of repetition, I'll say this. First of all, is unstructured data has to be properly brought into structured, then master data, then transaction data, then the analytical data which is currently sitting as a business insight. And when the AI has access to all this, and for this to happen, master data management softwares or implementation, right? ERPs which are absolutely enabled with intelligent ERPs, data lakes, data layers. Then I think we have a system. And by the way, we talked about the agentic governance. There are a lot of agents that companies potentially could deploy across different systems. So unless you have something like, everybody says today we have the AI governance layer, but SAP, for example, has Signavio. Signavio has a monitoring agent. You can deploy an agent which kind of monitors all the agents. Whichever agent deployed, like human HR manager manages the humans. So there are agentic systems which monitor what each agent is doing and kind of reports back. But again, just to deploy that, even it has taken, for one company, it has taken more than 6 months just to deploy this agentic monitoring system. So it's not going to be easy. So from that perspective, I will not think that anybody will lose job, but the skills that are required going forward are going to be very different. So because the implementation, the way we implement is not going to be the same way that we do, a lot of AI accelerators will come. So again, that's a probably different topic for another question.
Hey, thanks for the details. So, second panel who has told your jobs will not be lost. So human is required. So I mean, out of four, two have told that you are required. So data definitely. I mean, garbage in, garbage out. That is what we talk about. Data, AI, cyber security. I think this plays a very important role. So now I think a question to audience, not a very complicated one. Would you trust an AI agent to approve a 1 crore transaction, 1 crore again INR, right, not in dollar, without a human approving it? How many of you trust today? Just raise hands, I think. How many of you trust that a 1 crore INR transaction without human looking into it, either you call automated or agentic, end to end, that the input comes in and it gets approved? How many of you believe? So you believe without a human, that he's the guy. So you found the customer, but I think with maturity, definitely I think over the years will be very high. So I'll leave it to the systems to get more mature. But one hand was raised who believes that he can approve this transaction, but don't do it now because yeah, VTrans has not adopted it yet. So the question next goes to Santosh. We discuss security, we discuss governance. There are risks which are apparent only after adoption, right? Today we are not able to answer because we have not adopted AI in our workflows. So my question: what worries you the most about giving AI greater autonomy inside an enterprise?
Right. I think I answered this earlier as well. So my major worry is like giving an autonomy. I'm into the technology. I used to, tuning the models. I still am much more worried about giving the entire autonomy to AI. Like if someone is not looking over and AI is doing their own job. That's I mean, as Sanjeev sir said, like we have the reviewer agent. Yeah, someone is viewing it, but that's again AI. So again, we need to see the report from that AI to another human. Whereas this loop, 100% in the entire loop, we want human to be there. So that's where I see I'm much more concerned without a human. I'm not okay. And another thing which I want to bring to the table, again, this is another good news to the employees. So infrastructure is in crunch. So what we see, AI requires a lot of data centers, a lot of water, a lot of power, a lot of semiconductors, and we are not there yet. So like, we want to replace all of you, we need one more big data center here. That is not going to happen very soon, that's for sure. But till the time, how much of we need to be upskilled to go there where we have to do better than that what AI is doing right now. Exactly, you have to build the AI. Like AI can't build its own on its own, right? Though it is doing some job, still they require a human in loop. They require you to build better agent. So agent has to build by ourselves. That AI can't build its own agent and do it. That's not happening right now. So I see that infrastructure is one more biggest concern. That is, will not let the token economics, what we actually call, right? You guys, I mean, most into the development sector, somebody uses code, or you let AI to write a code and maintain the code and all. But when it comes to token economics, it's become expensive. Earlier it is $2, now it is $20, tomorrow it's going to be $200. Why all this? Because infrastructure is the biggest crunch. So that's where I see the two concerns which we see to adopting AI. After adopting AI, these things might be into the problem, so we need to be careful taking this step.
Okay, cautious is the word I take from you. So maybe Samya, I have one question regarding, we probably speak about fintech. CII manages a lot of industry sectors, right? It is auto, it is manufacturing, it is life sciences, it is medtech. Uh, do you see the adoption of speed same in all the industries, or it is different?
I think BFSI as a sector has adopted a lot. I think they are, I would say, more of a pioneer. We are sitting in Hyderabad. The second sector that we have seen, which has adopted very well AI and doing very well, is pharma. Pharma and life sciences. For all their trials and clinical trials that they do, AI in pharma is big. In fact, people like Dr. Reddy's and all have adopted it to a level where they are now doing it world over also for their plants and things like that. But the other sectors, we are still very skeptical. AI in manufacturing is big, though in India manufacturing percentage is very less, and vis-a-vis even Telangana is too low on manufacturing compared to states like Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra. But a lot is happening in Industry 4.0. In fact, today industry is talking about Industry 5.0. But again, machine learning and things like these, bigger companies, the adoption is great. But if you look at the SME segment, by definition of government of India, there are very few small and medium-sized companies around 500 crores and things like that. The adoption is very, in fact, I will give one more example. When CII started a center of excellence on digital transformation together with Tata Communications, we were directed to an IT manager in a small unit in Pashamanaram. The adoption of digital transformation should be from the top. The management should get involved. Unless that happens, digital transformation will not take place. So I don't think AI has any different path. I think it has to be the top management's call on that, and that's the way it should be.
So it means the need of adoption is similar in all the domains, and it's also, I think, as much as bottom up, also top down.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at defense and aerospace in Hyderabad. I mean, these guys are doing so well, and there is no way that they are not using AI. I mean, they have to. And people like Saffron and all are at a different level in our. We have a greater facility of them here. Tata has 5, units of aerospace that they do. So all are doing, but then again, it's like a silo business. There's no, while our state has a very great vision of AI city and things like that, but it has to be, taken up at a bigger scale at a regulatory level.
Thanks. So I think a lot of people are wondering, ये चारों आ गए इधर के उधर के पूरे बातें कर रहे हैं, बी ट्रांसफर क्या है? Right, Sanjeev, I'll ask that question. So AI can potentially accelerate consulting, development, migration, testing, all this support. So what about ERP partner ecosystem? Like they are dependent, either it is Oracle or SAP, they are hugely dependent on partner ecosystem. So if AI makes ERP implementations faster, less people intensive, does it shrink the opportunities or does it expand? Everyone is hearing.
As a the company, the group that I head, we have two startups actually. One is the SAP partner, and second one where we are the AI products company. Initially, I thought the AI products company probably will accelerate faster, but the reality is that we see a lot more secure and a brighter future for our ERP division. The primary reason for that, earlier we had only one service or maybe two, three services: implementation, application management support, and migration of ERP, or some success factors is what we had in the practice. Today we have added two more to that. We added AI services. This is AI services has two. One is the insights layer, which is the analytics layer that I talked about, and second is the agentic execution. The third most interesting thing is now we are doing a lot of advisory on the agentic ERP. So earlier we had a set of services, now we have additional three services. The companies that probably earlier were not talking to us because they felt very, very secure. Okay, we have already implemented, our system is stable, our analytics are established, we don't need anything. But those same customers were again going, if you don't do AI, now you are left behind. So suddenly, every customer is a fair game now. So there is nobody who would say that like, I have everything, I do not need anything more. And then luckily for us, all of this technology is not coming at once. It is coming incrementally, gradually. It is coming in a way digestible chunks. Now in India and in some parts of Europe and Middle East, we do not have any restrictions that we only have to use OpenAI or we only have to use Anthropic. We don't have any such things. We can use a lot of well models. We can use a lot of local AI models, including DeepSeek. In our company, we have two, three, GPUs of certain cluster where we downloaded those DeepSeeks and Pen, and most of our extraction and inferencing is happening on that. We also have recently signed up with Yota for our inferencing, and which is, by the way, especially for the Chinese models, is not that expensive. If you are in a Western world, maybe there's a different story altogether. But for the Middle East and in India, I think we are in a decent shape. But having said that, I absolutely second what Santosh is saying, that infrastructure has to keep up. But I think to me, the customer adoption is also gradual. So I think we need to kind of start, especially if we are ERP partner. My honest advice to the MD and the management team, that we have to embark on that path, and because we don't need to transform ourselves overnight, but we have to start educating ourselves as much as we educate the customers, so that our customers and we both progress in a similar fashion, keeping up with where our OEM is going. As long as we are able to keep up, be in lockstep with Oracle, what Oracle is doing, for example, in our case where SAP is going, and we are able to provide that much insight to the customer, and then I think to me that actually can open up a different level of service. Plus, it will actually will help us, have a much more brighter future, and maybe we can need hire more people. I'm pretty sure in the next 5 years, you probably will have same number of more people working just exclusively on additional services, which may be revolving around further digitization using AI.
Thank you for those inputs. Santosh, do you want to share one example which has really given an ROI in your area of work, maybe in short?
Let's make it sharp. So when we are dealing with a shop floor, one of the shop floor which is having around 20-25 machines that makes products. So every machine has its own metrics, like how many products you made machine, how many were good products, how many were bad products, how many were, what is the rate and what is the quality. There's all those things which we need. That is very easy for a supervisor who is standing on the floor to know. But when it comes to 25 machines, or when it goes to the plant, it's like a 250 machines on the shop floor. Now, as a CEO or a manager of the shop, the entire plant want to know what happened today at my plant, what is the bottleneck. So no, you can't call the supervisor what happened today. You can, but still it is very hard. Like we made a automated report generator where AI has been involved. It collects all the data from the specific machines, what happened on every machine, and end of the day, very simplified, just like what exactly CEO needs. It knows the tone. So I need in a like three-liner what happened in my plant today, whether it's a productive or anything is bottleneck. That comes at every night a WhatsApp message. It's an integrated. So it's easy for CEO to know instead of having the entire team into the meeting and know what happens. This happened recently and it really worked out well.
No, thanks, Santosh, for sharing. It means the ROI is seen. It means that people are investing. People also get benefit out of it. So I know that we are beyond time, but I really want to take 2 or 3 questions from the B-Trans associates. So quick, 2 or 3 questions. Depends on your question. Be short. Anyone has any question? So this will directly go in your performance management. HR is listening. Yeah. Yeah, please.
AI, listening to AI and learning from that. We have many agentic agents, right? So we have heard about news that there are agents learning from another agent. What dynamics that brings, and is it dangerous? I want someone to give insights about that.
So Sujit.
I think, see, the agent to agent, first of all, we need to understand what an agent is, right? Agent is basically, assume that it is a digital twin of a human, business function. Suppose if I am an AR clerk, an AR agent will be a digital twin of this AR clerk. Suppose if there are 2 companies, let's say for example, there is a procurement agent in one company and then say a sales agent in another company. First of all, for these 2 agents to talk, there are different protocols, A2A protocol and whatnot. So what is it going to learn from the other agent is to the extent the other agent is going to disclose. So there are a lot of guardrails that you put in. For example, what type of data that will be transmitted between these 2 agents. Because agent is smart enough, it knows it needs to protect. By the way, if you look at what has happened with the mythos in Clark, right, it kind of went berserk. There are such incidents could happen. But when you're deploying for a company, that agent is actually, because it's ultimately our code, it's human code, right? While we can do a lot of things, but we put a lot of very specific guardrails. So it will only share to the extent that it is allowed to share. But with the human, the problem is that we potentially could forget. Agent won't forget. And you have absolute traceability. Other person is also, keep learning. So basically the agent to agent interaction will actually benefit both the companies to the extent that a normal, even if you have to, for example, over a period, what happens, let's say you have a very, very senior person executing the function, suddenly he leaves. Now you have a complete handicap. In this case, there is no such thing and nobody leaving anything. So the knowledge within your organization is preserved and the agents will keep getting better. So, but it does not mean that there is any type of human displacement is happening. I think to me there is some type of fear that got created because, see, fear is always of unknown. Because what happens if I adopt it? When the people who were the weaving, right, the hand weavers, when they, when they were there, when the machine textile looms came, they were very, very worried, would I lose my jobs? No, actually they all became very, very, productive. So today, I think the opportunity is the other way. I'll just take this question, but use it as a detour. I think some of you probably would have heard this name, Kathy Woods. She used to work for Sequoia Capital. She made some very interesting comments last year in the Sequoia event that the world economy is going to go to 240 trillion from the current 100 trillion. So that additional 140 trillion is coming from the AI-driven economy. Is that her guess? Even if 50% of it happens, believe me, we all will prosper like anything.
So hope that answers your question. So maker checker will come and it's a valid document. Any last question or please can you just bring the mic? Shikant, welcome to B-Trans 10-year celebration.
So good evening everyone, I'm Shikant Aluri. Thanks for the invite. I would put it more as a question and also more as a food for thought kind of a thing. So So we know, I mean, we've been discussing about AI, agentic, everything fine, good. So ERP is the core of our story. So corporate, I mean, when it comes to any ERP implementations, they're like complex stories. We map all the complex stories, whatever happened inside, and then, okay, SAP or any other tool. So AI understanding the documents, knowledge is one part. The other thing is, we are actually, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never done the ERP implementations, but yeah, I did function into the enterprise architecture as a whole, but that's for a government healthcare thing. So when it comes to manufacturing and stuff, I'm not the SME or the subject matter expert. So do you think AI currently has, I mean, this agentic or whatever the AI, can really understand this level of complexity of enterprise architecture in terms of capability? Because I think that is where the story really lies, or how soon can we get there? Because I think once that is induced into the, embedded into the the products or the suite as a whole, the implementations, that is where the flavor of AI, human intervention, tech interventions, everything will really make sense. So how, because you're doing the real implementations, I'm more curious to understand, and also this is more like a thought and research that you guys can do after this session. Thank you.
Who wants to take this question? And Santosh, you can also add.
See, ERP of the business has not changed because of AI. Business existed and will continue to exist and will, right? So from that perspective, the business rules are business rules. Nothing changed in the Indian accounting GAAP principles, nothing changed in the sales processes, nothing changed in the procurement. So I think ERP's core is anyways fixed. So what is agent is doing? Basically at this time it is playing at a very low end of automation, reducing the wait times, making things efficiency. If you look at most of the AI deployments, AI agentic all about making the things more efficient and more efficient while human in the loop, because it is still not ready where it can actually replace humans anyways. So from that perspective, the complexity of an organization is not necessarily in the, it will not be anytime soon be coming into agentic layer. It is still within the ERP and also with the consultants like us. For example, if we have to implement, it is still we have to deploy our senior people to basically do the discovery. We may use different tools to expedite the discovery. We may have templates, pre-built templates, process flows and all that so that we can say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. But still, we have to implement it because business is still being run by humans. So from that perspective, I think the ability for the AI agents to understand the complexity of an industry and all is going to be, I don't think it will far-fetched. But the overall architecture of the ERP or the business process flows are kind of getting built by ERP because again, who we are the humans are giving the knowledge is just building on that. But every organization is unique, so from that perspective, we still have to do the discovery, we still have to map the processes, we have to configure. Configuration could be expedited by AI, but that activity needs to happen.
So I hope that's an input for a lot of audiences, and I hope it kinds of partially answers or fully answers. I think that was end of questions. Yeah, definitely. I think for you an exclusive question, please. But that would be the last question from the audience.
Okay. Uh, we have always seen the competition between police and thief, right? And we know very well security is a challenge in IT domain. With the given development, with the given enhancements in the IT, we have seen a lot of cases where hacking and making, unauthorized attempts to steal the intelligence is happening. Adding AI agents into the system, are we really catching up on the governance and security aspect compared to the real development and progress made in the agents? So are we there?
So I'll just start with it. So someone has to add. So it is like this. I mean, in our automotive world, we say we have to fix the aircraft while it is flying, or we have to enhance while it is flying. It means you cannot stop. You have to do your regular work. You have to deliver, and then also you have to adopt the tech. And the current ongoing trend is AI. So I mean, from the ERP side, Sanjeev, Santosh.
If I have to answer from my heart, I will say the technology is not there where we feel fully 100% safe with AI today, because there is a no. For example, for every other there are universal laws, and every government has kept up. They already promulgated many regulations and rules, do's and don't do's. Organizations also had a lot of maturity in terms of dealing with everything that happened before AI. Today we don't. That is where every organization has to be very cautious when they adopt AI. In fact, it could be with any IT system, but more so with AI, especially if you think about autonomous agents. In India, I don't think many companies have adopted autonomous agents, or anywhere in the globe for that matter. Mostly human in the loop, and they are being deployed in agents are especially very they are being deployed at a place where humans can't go. For example, in the mining industry, they are being deployed. Vision model AI agents have been working in the mining industry for the long term. If you look at in the drones, they're being adopted, right? It is probably being adopted in humanoid robots, with the cognitive abilities, but not in the critical business processes. Now nobody is still trusting AI agents to do 100% because we don't have those safety measures. But in terms of hacking and all, I think to me, because all these agents operate within backbone within the company's network, right? So all the typical security measures are in place, but still a lot of guardrails, data guardrails, information breaches, authorizations, authentication, all of those have to be further reinforced, and that's why it's like I think he used the right term. When you take a new employee, you are not going to give it the keys to the office completely. So I think that gradual deployment of the AI, and it all depends on the internal IT maturity. So from that perspective, honest answer is we are not there yet. Technology is slightly ahead, security is catching up.
Just want to add a word to that. So, like, exactly, we are not there yet. This is a straightforward answer. We are not there yet. Yeah, security is a bit behind. That's where everyone is fighting for the cyber security in AI. That is one of the boom in the technology, and everyone is working on the same. Yes.
Perfect. I think this is the 10th year celebration of VTrans. So we'll end up this panel maybe a one word with all of you. If you come back in 2026, I hope we'll go for a bigger hotel, not in the park. So we have done 10 years here. So if you come back in 2036, uh, after 10 years, so what would you want to see VTrans to do exceptionally good so that they succeed? Maybe one advice, info, something that you want to share. So start with something.
I think I have only one adjective to say because it has to be perseverance. In AI, the kind of things that we have right now, the thought is keep persuading, and I think if you have done 10 years, I'm sure you have your milestones, and I'm pretty sure that you would look now very vigorously, as we heard the MD speak, vigorously look at India as a market. So try and do that, and I hopefully will have more customers from India the next time we come here.
The moment I walked in, I felt very positive. And in fact, when I'm speaking, it didn't even feel like I'm talking to a company that I'm executives who I'm meeting for the first time. I think from that perspective, I feel that next time when I come, I feel I will have the same thing, and maybe I feel triple the workforce, because that way, our prediction will be true that AI will create more jobs. So I expect that you will at least have 3-4 times more people next time when I come. Thank you.
I have only one thing, which I want to see my background flex with having world map at least 7, 8, 9 dots where VTrans is. That's what I'm looking for.
That's great. So what I would like to wish, I also have a wish, though I'm a moderator. So I would continue to moderate in 2036. And what I would like to see also, I think, global representation. I mean, you see the panel discussion. I think a lot of people in VTrans, so within the organization or outside that they represent, and are part of the panels, and they share the success stories to the world. So wish you all the very best for path ahead, and I hope that you all will do great. And I think this was the most serious talk that we did. Now I just leave it to the MC. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for the panel.
Well, thank you so much, all the ladies and gentlemen. Can we have a big round of applause for all the gentlemen over here?
So can you please join? Thank you. Great. So, yeah, maybe just a couple of more minutes.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon the stage Mr. Shakir Pasha, the Managing Director, B-Trans, and Mr. Khadir Pasha, Chief Operating Officer, B-Trans, on the stage, please. Well, we would like to recognize the presence of our key dignitaries who are with us today. Mr. Amjad Khan Patan, the Center Head, Hyderabad location, Bosch Global Software Private Limited. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. The next felicitation we would like to give Mr. Sanjeev Deshpande, the Chairman, N-Labs AI Private Limited. Can we have a big round of applause, please? The next felicitation we would like to give is
मैं तो अब्बू के लिए कर मैं आप तो अब्बू के लिए करिए अब्बू के लिए
The next felicitation we would like to give is to Mr. Santosh Verma, Head of Technology, Opstech. A big round of applause, please, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Next is Mr. Sheikh Samiuddin, Director and Head, CII Telangana. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being over here. The next we would like to call upon the stage Mr. Sheikh Austin. We would like to call upon the stage Mr. Shrikant Taluri, co-founder 6